Coach Miller, and welcome to All Marine Fighter, our Aftermath edition. That Fulton Inoue fight, wow, that was a shocker. I kind of was pulling for Fulton because he's a slick boxer, but I think that his weaknesses became more glaring when he fought Inoue, and I just maybe that he didn't fight that kind of class of fighter until then, but we're going to talk about what happened in the fight and where it goes from there. Now, this was for the Junior Featherweight Championship, the WBO and also the WBC. I got to tell you that I was really excited for this fight because I liked both fighters, so I didn't really have a dog in this fight as in picking. I think Inoue really won a lot of people over, especially when he won the Muhammad Ali trophy and just really kind of showed who he was, dominating the division of people. And then, of course, Fulton won over a lot of folks, too, more specifically in the U.S., obviously. He's an American fighter, but he's a real slick boxer, very, very slick. And I do have to admit that I do admire him for being willing to go and fight in Japan. That's a business move right there. That's a business move because he doesn't have a huge fan base yet. So him going and fighting Inoue was just really smart because they were both going to make a whole lot more money fighting over in Japan, where Inoue is even more popular. Now, there were some things that I thought were a little strange starting right off. Fulton really had a wider stance. He decided to take this wider stance approach, which he gave up too much height. He's actually taller than Inoue, so he gave up too much height and being right in line with Inoue's punches. So that was a little strange. I do have to say that speed for speed, both were like right there. It was very good. I would say that Fulton's counter punches and punches when he threw them were extremely good. But what really surprised me was Inoue's ability to counter punch. His counter punches were really, really fast. But he decided to take this more, I call the curse of the young fighter, this more lead hand down, kind of like modified shoulder roll type of thing. And when I say modified shoulder roll, it's not exactly the shoulder roll, but it's a modified style. A lot of young fighters are doing this kind of thing, and Inoue's fast, okay, but you can't dodge them all. So if you take a shot from a heavy puncher, you're not going to be walking away from that very cleanly, okay? So he got lucky that Fulton just demonstratively shown that he's not a heavy-handed puncher, because usually what happens is that if the other fighter doesn't respect your punch, he's going to walk you down. That's exactly what he did to Fulton. So it just goes to show that Fulton didn't hit very hard. This is not very different from what happened, say, like how Canelo Alvarez at the the super middleweight treated his opponents at super middleweight. Nobody really hit him that hard, so he'd walk dudes down and just pound them, right? But then when he fought Dimitri Bivol actually hit hard and he was fast. And so you saw Bivol walking Canelo down a lot of times because the dude hits hard, So it's just a dead giveaway that if you're being hunted down, it's because the guy doesn't respect your power. Otherwise, he would have a little more respect and fear. That being said, by round 3, we were already starting to see that Inoue's counters were just extremely sharp. I got to say that while Fulton is fast and he has some good talent, he just always seemed a step behind Inoue. Just from round 1, moving on through the fight, he was always just a step behind. And that definitely messes with a fighter's mind, because you're getting punched back, right? And you're catching these shots, so it's going to affect your mind. And one of the things that Inoue did that I thought was actually pretty good and very smart, very clever, studying the fighter, he had straight basic punches. I'm serious, like he did the jab, he did the 1-2, 1-2-1, 1-2, 1-2 every now and again, but straight up 1-2. And it was very effective for him. But what was actually interesting about that is not only did he do the 1-2, when he threw the jab, he threw it straight down the pipe. But then he would take his 2 and somewhat loop it around Fulton's guard and catch him. It was very timely. And that lends to a fighter's ring IQ to see to analyze your opponent, the defense that he's given, and be able to adjust your punches accordingly. And you know what they say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. By round 4, Fulton was having some success, but it was very quickly short-lived. Inoue's face by round 6 was just looking pretty clean. Even though he would get punched every now and again, you could tell that, hey, Fulton doesn't have a lot of power behind his shot. And so you started to see Fulton's face getting beat up a little bit. He was bleeding, that type of thing. So being that Inoue didn't respect Fulton's punch, that just goes to show that if you have more of a boxer's stance or a boxer's style of fighting, like Fulton or like a Floyd Mayweather even, the epitome of such, like you got to come at it from like a pretty boy Floyd, okay? Pretty boy Floyd hit people hard, knocked people out. It wasn't until Floyd Mayweather damaged his hands that he had to change his style, because otherwise he'd be out of the fight game altogether. So people criticize him for that, but you have to admire the guy was brilliant, okay? He changed his stance because his freaking knuckles were giving such a hard time, okay? So Fulton, he's got to learn that, he's got to put some heat behind his punches and don't allow these punchers to walk him down like that. So I hope he learns from this loss. By round 8, the TKO was coming. I mean, Inoue caught him real good. He started to go down. His glove touched, and you could see that the ref was starting to run towards him to give him the 8 count. But Inoue kind of felt it. You could see that sixth sense in a way. Inoue felt it, ran up real quick, and boom, hit him because he got up. Fulton got up, and hey, defend yourself at all times, right? And that's where it finally dropped him. And then that was done. I don't think I would have seen that kind of knockout, because I guess I really didn't think that Fulton's punch didn't really, hurt that much to get walked down. But it just really goes to show how world-class a fighter Inoue is. And the guy really is a beast. He really is a monster. He's definitely earned my respect as a fellow fighter, and just be able to watch him fight. So, hey, more power to him. But I got to say, though, the more you go up in weight class, having your hands down like what he did, you're going to get clobbered by some bigger dudes. And so he's going to learn real quick, keep his stinking hands up. So you better learn that lesson now. And don't follow after some of these, American fighters in the stupid trend of keeping the hands down. So anyways, congratulations to Inoue, 4-division world champ. He's got 2 of the belts now. I don't think there was some sort of rematch clause. I probably doubt it. So he's probably going to go after the other guy in that division who has the other 2 belts. And he'll be, if that happens, I think it's a Filipino fighter. Yeah, Filipino fighter that had a big upset that took 2 of the belts. So if he pulls that off, man, that'll be huge, because he'll be a 2 undisputed. It'll be 2 weight classes that are undisputed, and very few fighters have done that. I don't think nobody's done that in the 4 belt division, in the 4 belt era. Nobody's done that. I think Terrence Crawford's trying to do that here on Saturday. But we'll see what happens with that. But anyway, it could be the second guy if Terrence Crawford loses or wins. I'm excited to see what comes next for Inoue, and the undisputed fight coming up, and we'll see what happens with that. If you like this video, go ahead and click that like button. And of course, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. All right, until next time, stay motivated.